Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Want to know what your guests think? Ask them with Yumpingo. I want to start off here with a quick thanks to Branded Strategic Hospitality for helping to promote and book this webinar. And also thank you to Gallery Design Studio for making the following presentation look awesome. We put this webinar series together. Like, we know there's a lot of stress happening out there in the restaurant world, and there's a lot of awesome things that can be happening too. We wanted to kind of set the tone out there with some ideas and some technology and some solutions that can help you transform your business. And so let's get right into it today. Excuse me. On today's webinar, you will learn why measuring customer sentiment matters so much, how the customer sentiment helps shape your day-to-day, and how to capture guest sentiment more effectively. And please, with that, allow me to introduce John Terrio. Hi, John.
What's going on, Rev? How are you?
I'm good. You are the sales manager for Yumpingo. With over 13 years of experience in sales and management, each of John's hands-on performance-based careers have been focused on problem solving, client service, implementing effective strategies, and continuous growth throughout the organization. And hi, if you guys don't know me, hi, I'm Rev Ciancio. I'm a hospitality marketing consultant. I help restaurants raise awareness, acquire, and retain customers through digital media, social marketing, and incredible software. And my personal magic wand is pizza. I have more than 20 years experience in branding, digital marketing, hospitality, and I've worked with hundreds of restaurants to help them attract and retain customers. Now, a lot of people know me as a restaurant and hospitality marketing influencer because I run a couple Instagram accounts with almost 600,000 followers total, but we are not here to talk about that today. I also used to own a bar in New York City, so I know exactly how hard it is to market and brand a location-based business. And today we are here to talk about why measuring customer sentiment matters so much. And with that, John, I'm going to give it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rev. Also notable, Pizza Wand is either the best name for a band ever or should be somewhere on something. And then you and I have a really great history going back. I mean, not only do we work together, but we've been friends for close to 15 years now. So it's been fun watching both of us kind of our trajectories through this space. It's been really fun. So thank you so much for having me doing this.
Well, thank you for bringing your pizza wand today.
Yeah, of course. I think our first connection was over hot dogs, but that's a different story for a different time. Yeah, and just to add to that quick intro, you having owned a bar in New York City and understanding how difficult it is for just location-based sentiment. I had a hot dog truck in Los Angeles, so we were in multiple location-based sentiment. So it's same problem, different approach. I feel for all of it. Yeah, so kind of getting started with the problem, not speaking generally to the problem at hand that we're having with everybody kind of changing their behaviors, but as far as a problem going forward with customer sentiment, and right now, I guess some of the problem would be is you don't really know exactly what your customers are saying. So we always say, if you want to know what they're saying, ask them. But if you could ask 200 guests right now, any question today, what would you want to know, and how would you get that information into your hands from them? So that's some of the problem. And guests have a voice, but it's a silent one. And if you're not listening, things can go viral, pardon the pun, in a bad way. And typically for now, as you know, Rev, customers are filling out comment cards, or they're doing after the fact reviews from email requests or social media, or, chefs and front of the house are just going to talk about sales numbers. They say, well, this moves well, so it must be good. And we know that that's not always the case. You've definitely ordered something, I imagine, and you get it and you go, yeah, this wasn't that great.
Yeah, and I think to your point, John, and I know even from a consumer aspect, most consumers do not actually share their opinion anywhere, whether it's social media reviews or on a comment card. In fact, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the majority of comments that do surface to a restaurant are like this much percentage of their total business.
Yeah, it's a small percentage, and a lot of it's polarizing. So it's either extremely negative or it's extremely positive. But I know for a fact, and goes for even conversations that you and I have when it comes to where to order from, you'll have a story behind it. And you'll say, I went here with this person and we got this and it was great. But if it's bad, you're likely to tell way more people. And that's the whole real problem with having that, silent voice that the guests are having on a day-to-day basis. And Yumpingo, and we'll see in the next slide coming up, has found a solution on how to capture those things. But one other problem is knowing what does and what doesn't work can be a really long and unreliable process. So if you implement something like a new menu item, or you implement something like an aesthetic change, that's really hard to measure going forward. So we came up with a solution. And I like this last thing I put in there is, and you tell me, you're sitting there, you're eating, server comes up, and you're like, how is everything?
It's fine. Actually, typically my answer is more like this, because they have a tendency to come over and interrupt my meal.
What is that, by the way? It's like we both have young sons. It's like, oh, this plate's hot, and put it right in front of the 4-year-old.
Exactly.
So anyway, okay. So moving on. Good stuff. So what's the solution, or what can we do here? So Yumpingo provides a 1-minute review, and we say 1 minute, and that's at the longer end. I mean, I've put this in the hands of people, and within 30 seconds they've completed it, because it's only a few screens, but it's presented with the check drop. So what the server says is something to the effect of, here's your check. There's a 1-minute review. We'd love to know what you thought, and take your time. And it really prompts that curiosity factor. So right now it's a handheld device, and we're talking about different ways that we can implement maybe something that's, you don't have to physically touch to still get that review sentiment. In the last slide, if you hold on, I'll show you a QR scan on how exactly we also do that. But we find that without any sort of prompting, that up to 85% of guests will leave some sort of a review, because they're in the moment, it's table side, and people want to talk and people want to be heard. What Yumpingo essentially does, and I have a note here that basically says, we capture first-party data at an extremely high volume, dish by dish, sentiment by sentiment. We ingest that data, make sense of it, and then we put it to a dashboard that GMs can keep open on a shift-by basis. And then weekly reports can be run by front of house, back of house, to help with ordering, to help with menu integration. So we take all this data, and then it gets spit out. So it's pretty wild.
Awesome.
Yeah. So just to kind of talk about a hero customer, do you have any questions about how that data is captured, or anything I went over?
No, I get it. It seems like, I think I've heard of a number of situations where the ops team and the culinary team don't necessarily agree on a dish, and this moves, or I like that one, or whatever. Like, this will actually tell you if your customers really like it or not, and there's no more squabble between ops and culinary.
Yeah, which is huge, because it's not, a lot of times people say, well, this is going to disrupt, the synergy between these things potentially. And I would say the exact opposite, because now you can validate somebody's changes. So how amazing would it be to change something on a menu and then have moment-to-moment feedback on what those changes are in a positive way? Or at the end of the shift, you can go back and you're like, hey guys, this was executed with just a little too much salt. And then you go make those changes. And we have rotating questions that run in there. Like, is there anything that you would change personally? And I know if I'm given that option to say, what would you change? And it's kind of an anonymous review, I might take the liberty to explain myself a little bit deeper.
Totally. I think for me, if every single pizzeria in the world had this, half and half pies would be the thing that gets offered the most.
And it's so funny, because if you know a place that has half and half pies, and I saw your post have the all sauce, half mushroom, half black olive, which, like, why isn't this here now? I was dying.
I think all customers would vote that way. But anyway, John, let's see what a hero customer looks like.
Yeah, so a hero customer, and I've got a couple examples, and these are our national scale customers. So let's talk right now about TGI Fridays and Rosa Mexicano. And specifically with TGI Fridays is a menu change that we help them implement. And then with Rosa would be a product launch of something new, and then a menu change that also went along with it. So I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time on these next slides, and I'll just pop through. But this is also to represent just the amount of data that we capture and what we can help make sense of. So at the risk of just reading the top level slides, and you can go back through and watch this on your own and pause and read through, we help you with the culinary development, back of house ops. So showing which dishes are really working well, which dishes need a little bit of assistance, things for targeted training, because we also have some sentiments that go along with the server, where a server can put in their server number, and then we'll let we'll understand a little bit better if they offer drinks or dessert, or were they friendly service. We can capture that data as well. But leadership, just to your point just a moment ago, this really helps that communication between front of house, back of house with leadership, because the reporting is system wide. The data's live, product versus execution. If you change a price on something, ask right away. Do you feel you got the value for this dish? You'll know instantly. Front of house operations, for trainings, for add-on sales, front of house recognition. So we say, hey, Susan, you got 10 out of 10 stars on your reviews today. Here's a $50 gift card to your favorite coffee shop. So that's like super positive.
Killer.
Market research and insights. Again, you can make changes in the real time and then see it implemented into action immediately. And then brand marketing and loyalty, because at the end of the requests, it asks to leave your email address. And we find overwhelmingly a large group of people will leave their email address. I mean, this goes kind of in the face of the comment cards, which a lot of people just doodle on. We find over 20% of people are going to leave their email address, and you can add this into your CRM for your loyalty programs or for your outreach. And then the emails are also tied into the NPS scores for the likes or dislikes that they have. So you can reach out and target that customer specifically. It's really a huge function and form.
Yeah, that's I think the name of the game in restaurants is return visits, right? And so if you can generate contact information and you basically can do permission-based marketing with your customers, then you actually can start to measure the lifetime value, right? It's awesome.
Yeah. And I always ask, I say, if we're getting, and this is an arbitrary number, I'm making this up. If you get 400 reviews over a certain shift, I always say, well, how many Yelp reviews did you get that weekend? And what was the nature of that review? So you're capturing a lot more data at a shorter amount of time, which is great. I'll go through this. I'll go through this. This is what it looks like to do menu testing. So we'll ask questions, research questions, category reviews. We'll show dishes from star to dog. We'll validate a lot of your proposals and identify solutions. So this is a plan that we rolled out in 2019 for TGI Fridays specifically. We gave them 3 different versions. These are correlated to store numbers that implemented them. The negative symbol means they removed 9 menu items in this version. They removed 19 menu items in this version. Deeper cut in apps. And then in this one store in Brooklyn, we did 10 menu items. And you know what that's like. If you've got a long, if you're overwhelmed with choices, sometimes you get, paralysis by overanalysis.
Yeah, I think there's probably a number of benefits to this from the consumer perspective. I know that like when I get presented like the Bible of food, I just end up flipping for like an hour. And like for sure that reduces the amount of table turnovers you can do as a restaurant, because I'm just sitting there like, I don't know, should I get this? Should I get this? Should I get this? Should I get this? Like, and I was just going to get the hamburger anyway, right? So
that's super interesting. Yeah. Have you guys decided yet? Actually, no. Could you come back in a week?
Yeah. But from a restaurant's perspective, what else do they gain with information like this? What kind of efficiency do they gain out of deleting items?
Yes. So, I mean, so there's food costs that naturally surround that. So say if you've got one, specific ingredient that's only in one dish, I mean, you can really cut costs. And I mean, I know from running my own operation, you're always struggling to make sure that you're using every part of the bull, or buffalo or whatever that saying is, sorry. Every part of the cow, you know what I mean? So having a good understanding of what isn't working, the way that you can kind of cut purchasing costs or move one item and see how you can repurpose it across the board is also a tremendous help. So for example, this one, the strategy after we presented all of the findings after a test run to TGI Fridays, they went with version A. And you could see where the overall satisfaction increased. The variety decreased because people say, hey, the menu's not as variety full, but you see how small that number is. Navigation, the ease of use to navigate the menu. But if you add these 2 numbers up, the delta still does not include what the intent to return is, which is ultimately what you want, because you want return guests.
Yeah,
that's what we're looking for. So this is part of the strategy that we present you with. I mean, where else are you going to be able to capture guest sentiment in real time to implement a strategy to see the outcome immediately?
This is powerful.
Again, this is just more of the data that we provide. Again, you can pause this and look through should you choose to. These are some of the actual free text information that we get from customers, because there is an opportunity to free text. look, this sandwich fell apart, could be crispier. So I know instantly whomever's preparing this, I don't know, do you use a different batter? Are you not leaving it in the fryer for long enough? But I could walk to whomever is making this dish and say, show me, let me watch you make this thing. Because we're hearing. So this is on the high end, low end, and then the deletions. Things that just absolutely aren't working at all, just get them off the menu, because, you know, it's going to save you in so many different realms, you know. And then let's see. Okay, so what's up over here? These are our stars. These are most ordered stars. So this was the fall menu that they currently had in place. And then after we re-implemented the summer menu, you could see how much more of a concentration is for people who really appreciate the dishes and the changes that TGI Fridays made. We didn't make this for them. We show them the data, they act on it, and then there's the positive outcome.
Cool, real actionable data.
Actionable data, you got it, buddy. Fall menu analysis, it went up. That was neutral for the gems. They went down by 3.5% of the things that were dogs. So that's by eliminating 6 dishes. Breaks in the chain, they took out 8 fewer dishes. So this is all good stuff. And this is for Rosa Mexicano. So this is just another sort of visual. We have this here in look, taste, portion, and value. This is how we measure all of the data. And then these are the overall sentiments. This is some of the data that they took from what we had to put in place, and then they took us up on it.
Cool.
So
John,
sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, go to the next one. John, this is really awesome. I appreciate you explaining to people. Now you have a special offer. Do you want to explain how that works to everybody?
Yeah, I do. So essentially right now, in the parlance of our times, to quote the Lebowski, we're offering some certain things. Now, traditionally we do a pop-up. This is what our device actually looks like. So this gets dropped at table side. I've actually got a device right here. This is pretty cool. The device gets dropped table side, and then the review comes up here. But we're finding a lot of people might not want to touch these things, and we're sensitive to that. And I think we have to be moving along with times. So I encourage everyone right now to just open their camera. You don't have to open a QR finder. Just open your camera. Yeah, give it a shot on your phone. And then just hover over this. Here, I'll do it too.
Boom, comes right up on my phone.
Look at that. And then you touch this. And then this is a real customer that we have right now. This is Mulberry and Vine. They're a QSR here in the city. And you can go through. It's a sandbox right now, so you're not going to leave any actionable reviews. Don't worry about it. But you can tap through and you can see what the workflow looks like. We're offering this service for 4 weeks for no charge. And what does that mean? That means that work with us. We'll upload your entire menu to our dashboard. We will put all of your data. So I'm thinking and talking at the same time. That's your logo, your aesthetics. It'll look like your brand. People can go through, if you want to print out stickers, comment cards, anything you want to attach to your to-go menus that people will mouse over. You can still get all your actionable insights for reviews and customer sentiment without them having to actually be in your restaurant. We're saying, please take advantage of this. Use this for free for 4 weeks. We will give you, at least you're going to get a free audit of all of the dishes and all of your service operations. After the 4-week trial is over, we'll give you a complete rollout of some of the data I showed you earlier on those slides. And then we can kind of talk forward about what it looks like to use Yumpingo. But we'd really like to offer this data, especially in today's climate where it's mostly pick up and take out. And then going forward where people might not want to touch an added device at tableside, but they'll always want to use their phone. It's fine.
Awesome. Yeah, this is going to be super important as people start to fill dining rooms again, like to get the sentiment of how they actually feel now that, you know, we've had this transform in society. I think this is awesome. So guys, take a picture of that QR code. You can test it out on your own. And also, so John, if people want to get in touch with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
I would say just call me. It's my cell phone number. So I am here in New York City, although this is a California number. I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles. So 310-663-2058, or you can email me, John, no H, Jon, at yumpingo.com. And I will certainly love to chat. Even if you just want to kind of kick around some ideas, I'm always open to talk.
Awesome. Thanks so much. For you guys who are watching and listening to the webinar today, if you like this, Please like the post, and if you can comment on it, that'd be awesome too. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you really, really, really like it, share this webinar with other people who you think would also find some value in it. So we appreciate that. Something else I want to give you an offer here. If you really like what you learned today, and you're interested in some similar discussions, networking with other restaurant executives, getting your questions answered about hospitality, marketing, tech success, all that kind of stuff, you can join our private Facebook group. It's free. It's run by myself and inspirational thought leader, John Mark Shaw. You can find that at bit.ly/restmast. That is bit.ly/RESTMAST. That's for Restaurant Mastery. So again, bit.ly/restmast. Just go ahead and join us if you want to have some more conversation. And with that, I really want to give some likes and some thanks to Branded Strategic Hospitality. They're a micro venture investment and solutions platform that leverages the ecosystem solutions of restaurants, hospitality expertise, and some deep relationships to high-tech technology concepts like Yumpingo.
Sure.
They're also go ahead.
No, I mean, I was just saying, you especially, Rev, and the guys over at Branded Strategic have been instrumental in my journey, especially with this. But I mean, I've never kind of been included in a more helpful and genuine concerned group of individuals who want to see everybody succeed. So, what you put in is what you get out. And these guys have really been super supportive through this whole process, as if you are. And this is an amazing generosity of your time and consideration. So I want to say thank you to you as well for having us doing this.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Of course,
I also want to give some likes and thanks to Gallery Design Studio. They help B2B businesses with reliable, ongoing marketing creative. I know I've used them several times in my career. They are the amazing team that actually created this presentation. So we give thanks to them. John, last, I want to thank you from Yumpingo for sharing all this information about customer sentiment and what people can do to get more from their customers. Anybody that's watching, if you have questions for me or you want to talk about ways I might be able to help you, please reach out. Any social network. I'm the screen name Rev Ciancio. You can DM me right here on LinkedIn. You can also email me, therev@yeahmanagement.com. I would love to hear from you. We want to thank you for tuning in today. Hopefully you found this to be insightful and are thinking of new ways to master success in your restaurant business. Make it a great, tasty day. Thanks, John.
Thanks, everybody.